Rick Ross recently took shots at 50 Cent for allegedly trying to sell his masters, but in a wild twist of irony, Ross himself had already sold his own catalog to get ahead financially, making his attempt at mocking 50 completely nonsensical. As if that wasn't enough, Charleston White, never one to hold back, jumped into the fray and absolutely tore Ross apart for the hypocrisy. This drama has set the internet on fire, and today, we're diving deep into the situation, exposing the contradictions, the shade, and the brutal reality behind these rap moguls' moves. So let's get straight into it. Rick Ross, known for his boss persona and larger-than-life flexes, decided to take a dig at 50 Cent, implying that selling one's masters is a weak move. He attempted to clown 50 for even considering it, framing it as a sign of desperation. But here's where it all falls apart. Rick Ross already sold his own masters. That's right. Back in 2022, Ross offloaded his catalog for a lump sum, a move many artists have been making in recent years. Why? Because a big payday up front can be more valuable than waiting years to collect royalties. For someone like Ross, who prides himself on financial acumen, this was purely a strategic business move. Yet, when 50 Cent seemingly followed the same playbook, Ross flipped the script and ridiculed him. Make it make sense. Now, let's not forget that 50 Cent is one of the most financially savvy artists in the industry. We're talking about a man who flipped a vitamin water endorsement into a multi-million-dollar payday, built a successful TV empire, and continues to expand his reach in entertainment and business. If 50 Cent is looking at selling his masters, it's not because he's broke. It's because he sees a bigger opportunity elsewhere. It's a calculated move, not a desperate one. But Ross, seemingly forgetting his own business history, tried to turn this into an L for 50. The problem? The internet doesn't forget, and neither does Charleston White. Enter Charleston White, the outspoken social commentator known for his unfiltered and often controversial takes. When he caught wind of Rick Ross trying to clown 50 Cent over something he had already done himself, he wasted no time in tearing into Ross. White, with his signature blend of humor and brutal honesty, called out the sheer hypocrisy. He reminded everyone that Ross isn't exactly in a position to mock 50 Cent when he made the exact same financial decision for himself. Charleston laughed at how Ross tries to portray himself as a business mastermind, but ends up looking foolish when his own moves contradict his words. And here's where it gets even deeper. Charleston White didn't just clown Ross for the hypocrisy. He questioned the entire persona that Ross has built. See, Ross built a career off the boss image, the lavish lifestyle, the endless money talk, the supposed ownership of everything he touches. But what happens when you're exposed as someone who's just playing the same game as everyone else? Ross' attempt to flex on 50 backfired because it showed that he's not operating on some superior level. He's just making the same moves other artists are making, yet trying to act above it all. Charleston White even went as far as to suggest that Ross is out here trying to stay relevant by beefing with 50 Cent. And let's be honest, it's not the first time we've seen Ross take jabs at 50. Their feud goes back over a decade, and every so often, Ross finds a way to bring it back up. But why? Because 50 Cent is a magnet for attention. Anytime someone mentions 50, it becomes news. So is this really about the masters? Or was Ross just trying to attach himself to 50's name again to get the internet buzzing? Charleston White didn't hold back in suggesting that Ross might just be chasing clout. But here's where things take a turn. If Ross truly believes selling one's masters is a bad move, then why did he do it himself? Does he regret it? Is he projecting his own insecurity onto 50 Cent? These are the questions that Charleston White raised, making Ross' position look even weaker. The reality is, artists sell their masters for different reasons. Some do it for an immediate financial boost, some reinvest in other ventures, and some simply want to cash out while the value is high. There's no single right way to handle your catalog. But the moment Ross tried to act like he was above it while having already done the same thing, he lost all credibility in this argument. And let's not ignore the fact that 50 Cent hasn't even responded to Ross. That alone speaks volumes. 50 doesn't entertain just anything. He picks his battles carefully. If he hasn't responded, it could be because he sees no need to. He knows his business decisions make sense. He knows his track record speaks for itself. Meanwhile, Ross is the one looking like he's grasping at straws. Try to create a narrative that doesn't hold up under scrutiny. So what's the takeaway from all this? Rick Ross' attempt to clown 50 Cent completely backfired. Not only was his hypocrisy exposed, but Charleston White's roast session put the nail in the coffin. Instead of making 50 Cent look bad, Ross ended up making himself look ridiculous. And in the world of hip-hop, where credibility is everything, that's a tough L to take. At the end of the day, business moves are business moves. If selling one's masters is a weak move, then Ross is just as weak as he claims 50 Cent to be. And if it's a smart move, then why try to shame 50 for doing the same thing? The logic doesn't add up, and Charleston White made sure everyone saw through the nonsense. This situation just goes to show that you have to be careful when throwing shade, because if your own history contradicts your words, the internet will drag you for it. And when someone like Charleston White gets involved, you know it's a wrap. Ross might have thought he was getting one up on 50 Cent, but in reality, he only ended up